Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Yes,
Shabbat
yes.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom. All praises to the Most High on this Shabbat day. I'd like to say all praises and I'd like to say shalom to all Israel, far and near, to all our brothers and our sisters out there in the diaspora. I'd like to say the time of our awakening is here, and the time of our redemption, and the time of our salvation, the time of deliverance, the time of destruction of our enemy, and the judgment of the Most High is upon the nations. And my topic is the subject matter is why do our people vote Democratic, and the gods of Egypt. The gods of Egypt is going back to the time of the Exodus, when the Most High plagued Egypt on their false gods. All right, because the Egyptian had many gods, and the Egyptian believed that their gods were the superior gods of the earth. So they had gods for the river, gods for fertility, God for the weather, gods for the control the day and the night. So the Most High tried to prove them that their gods are nothing. All right, and that's what we're gonna go into, the gods of Egypt, and why do our people vote Democratic? And one of the reasons why our people vote Democratic is because the Democratic Party, well, not since its inception, but since it changed around, because the Democratic Party, both parties were a bunch of racist, hateful haters towards us. But it was the Republican Party during the time of the Civil War with Abraham Lincoln that came up with a, wow, excuse me, I don't have my mic on. Wow.
Fuck it.
I'm sorry about that. You got your mic right?
Good.
I'm sorry about that. I didn't have my mic on. Wow, I'm sorry about that. Forgive me. I apologize for that. Let me reiterate what I just said. I don't know if the mic had picked up because I didn't have my mic on, but let me repeat what I said. I didn't have my mic on at that particular time. My subject today is why do our people vote Democratic, and the gods of Egypt. All right? The gods of Egypt, like I was stating, were many different gods that the Egyptians had. They had gods for every event of things. And they figured that their gods were superior to all people's gods of the earth. But the Most High proved them wrong during the time of the Exodus, when he brought the plagues. All right? So getting back now to my subject, I was saying, why do our people vote Democratic? Both parties are the same, hateful to us, destructive. They all use different tactics and strategy to manipulate and to try to get our votes and to use us. So during the time of slavery, around 1861, from that point to about 1865, the Republican Party was the party that, well, how should you say, I won't say freed the slaves, but they advocated for freeing of the slaves under Abraham Lincoln, because Lincoln was a Republican. And during that time, too, a lot of blacks were Republicans, until around, like, you could say like around, coming forth in the early 1900s, 1930s, more blacks started becoming Democratic during the time of Eleanor Roosevelt and Truman, when they made certain laws and leadways for us as a people to have certain leadways. And you can also remember when Eleanor Roosevelt stood up for the plight of the black fighters during what you call, they were called, you call them the Tuskegee Airmen. She was a strong advocate for them to become fighters. So she went out on a limb for support of black fighters. She even went out in the fighter planes with the black pilots and was encouraging them. And she made a strong stance because her husband was sick at that time. So she was in strong support of the black Tuskegee fighters. So Roosevelt and Truman, they all came in, they made advances for the so-called betterment of the Negroes during that era. But prior to that, the Democrats was just as racist, Ku Klux Klan, and all these different forms of Jim Crow and everything you could think of against us. But as time progressed and we moved towards the 1930s, the 40s, more and more Democrats became more what you should say, liberal towards the progressive state of blacks in this country. So they started to push towards more of a civil rights era for civil rights of our people. And then the Republicans now in return became against that. They were against the civil rights of black people. They preferred state rights.
Right.
That the states control the rights of our people more than the Democrats giving our people civil rights. All right? So we're going to go into that a little bit and to show you why our people vote Democratic. And if I was voting, which I never voted in my life, but I could see why. All right? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No. Post-slavery was also known as the Reconstruction era.
Right, the Reconstruction era. That's when you had a lot of major blacks became part of the government. They were in the government.
Right.
You could say black people actually took over and was running this country. Okay? And they helped to rebuild this country after the Civil War. Because these white fools didn't know nothing. So black took the position and became governors, not mayors, but rulers in high political positions. And they was running the country. So then the Republicans didn't like that, and the Democrats came in, and there's a whole lot of mix-up. You understand? Jim Crow and all the whole nonsense came into play. All right? You want to say something?
Also, when you want to compare it to modern times, you hear Donald Trump made a statement that he want to leave abortion up to the states too.
Right. Yeah. So Republicans believe in state rights. Everything, even Reagan, Bush 1, Bush 2, Ronald Reagan, you name him, Ford, all these guys, Nixon, all of them were Republicans. Right. All right? But one of the greatest, I should say, most outstanding and prolific Democratic leader in that era in the 60s was Lyndon B. Johnson. Okay? He was the most prolific in advocating for the civil rights of black people. Kennedy was too, but Kennedy didn't live up to a lot of his obligations. It was Johnson that stepped up to the plate and became that president that advocated a lot of civil rights and enacted, he put into laws civil rights for black people. You understand? But this is not to say that the Democratic Party love us. This was the Most High trying to...
What is that?
That was the Most High trying to ease the pain and the evil and the things that was happening to us. All right? So, as you got to remember, during that time, even up until the 1960s, 1961, 62, 63, 64, we were still being oppressed heavily by this government. You understand?
Well, could be next door. So
they were sicking dogs on us, spraying us with water hoses, being beat down. We was catching hell. We didn't have no civil rights. So when Johnson came into office, he enacted all those civil rights. So I'm going to give you a brief history, a brief rundown of the Democratic Party and what came into play. All right? And I want to show you a scripture. Yeah, do it for me. To show that it was the Most High was using them to help ease some of the oppression that we was going through. You understand? Because right after slavery, man, from the time after slavery up until the civil rights, we were catching pure hell. All right? And that's why you had Martin Luther King that was on the scene, right? Pushing hard for the rights of his people. He was fighting for his people, even though he might have made slight mistakes, but he loved his people and he was fighting for the rights of his people, all right? To be relieved of that hard oppression, all right? So let me give a brief breakdown in the Democrat Party, all right? So it's stated here. All right. After slavery, we did not have equality and civil rights. That's a fact. Even in slavery, we didn't have no rights. Even after slavery, we still didn't have no rights or equality. During the time of civil rights, we were fighting to get civil rights, to be recognized as a human, as a man, as a woman. You understand? And we were still being treated as second-class, third-class citizens in this country in the 60s. Understand? When I was born, I saw those things. I grew up watching the TV with Martin Luther King, and they protested in the streets, being sick with dogs, being sprayed, being beaten down by the cops. You understand? Brutally attacked You understand? But our people, they saw that voting was the only way that they could achieve any form of civility or humanity. So that's the only way they chose. You understand? So we didn't have no equality or civil rights. So in 1948, Humphrey, who was a senator, a Democratic senator, he pushed for civil rights of black people. He was advocating for the civil rights of black people in this country, while the Republicans were against that. All right? In the 1930s, you had blacks started moving towards the Democratic Party. All right? In the 1930s, like I said, during the time of Roosevelt, when he established the Great Deal. And his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt, was a staunch advocate for blacks and black pilots in the Tuskegee Airmen to become fighter pilots in the military. Because even at one point, blacks were, even though we fought in the military, we served in the Civil War, we were still being segregated and caught hell. Okay? They were still segregating us and still saying, boy, you're not fit to fight in the U.S. military. And there was a movie that came out recently. Y'all should go and check it out. It's called The 24th. It was showing you of black soldiers that fought in World War I, right after the Civil War. And they fought in the U.S. military, and they were stationed out in the military base in Texas. And the hell that they caught from the Ku Klux Klan, the police departments, the sheriff, and they were in uniform for this country. And they were still being beat down, called boys, niggers, killed, all right? Discriminated. Boy, get in the back of the bus, boy. What you doing up here front near the bus? You understand? And you wearing a U.S. military uniform and still going through those things, you should be treated with respect. But they didn't give a damn about us. You understand? That's the nature of this beast. All right? So in the 1930s, blacks started moving towards the Democratic Party under Roosevelt, called the New Deal. And the New Deal is when America started to come into that progressive understanding, where they started enacting Social Security and all the different benefits that will aid so-called Americans in the future of their retirement and so forth. It was the Democrat Party that came up with those ideas. Social Security, not the Republicans. They were against that. Okay? So the Democrats came up with those ideas, which is called progressive way of thinking or progressive way of life. All right? So it provided more jobs and benefits to black people during that time. You understand? Because we had the lowest form of jobs, the most demeaning jobs, and the least paying of all jobs. Even though we were qualified, we were still being paid way less than the so-called white man and woman. And you're still being called a boy, a nigger, okay, in front of your face. Hey, boy, get over here, boy. Hey, boy, shine my shoes. Okay? So we were being relegated to a no people, a nobody, man. Okay? And they love that. And that's what Trump want to bring back, that heyday. You understand? When he said, MAGA, make America great. But I'm going to hit you with something. In these last days that we live in now, it doesn't matter who you vote for. Whether Democratic or Republican, it's the same old damn thing, because this country is going down. It's time for judgment. All right? So I'm going to finish reading this and showing you why the master of our people vote Democratic. All right? So during that era, it provided more jobs and benefits to a lot of our people. So in the 1960s, Nixon was for states' rights. He was a Republican. He was another one too. And this is where Bush and Reagan got their ideas from. You understand? They all followed pursuit of their predecessors. All right? So Kennedy, at that time too, was president. He was a Democrat. All right? Now, he stood for civil rights, but he didn't fully enact the civil rights laws. You understand? Him and his brother, Robert Kennedy, which was Attorney General at that time. So they bump off his brother because he was supposed to be working with Kennedy, and they bump off Kennedy too, and Martin Luther King. Okay? This was done by the U.S. government. It wasn't done by no sole isolationist one person. That's a damn lie. It was done by the U.S. government. They knocked them off. Okay? It was an inside job. Don't they believe that crap that some lone guy up in some place in Texas bumped off Kennedy? Okay? This was an inside job either by the CIA or one of the different ABC intelligence group. I never believe that crap. Nobody could not bump off nobody in a political figure unless it's an inside job. You understand? You cannot bump off no president or no political leader. So don't believe that crap. Some lone isolationist guy that was there up in some suppository or where the hell he was waiting and he had a good shot and he took out Kennedy. That's a lie. The same thing with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was killed by the U.S. government. Okay? It was a precise, direct hit on King because he spoke out against this country with the Vietnam War. When he was doing what he was doing for the civil rights, it was all right. Once he made that speech against the Vietnam War, that America is the greatest purveyor of violence, and what America was doing in Vietnam, they said, oh no, you gotta go now, boy. You got to go now, boy. You stepping out of your bounds because King had the masses following behind of him, and they was like, wait a minute, King is right. And you can't prove that the people is right and the government is wrong. That's a problem. So they had to take him out. How did they know exactly where he was going to be in that day in 1968 on the balcony in Tennessee?
In Memphis, Tennessee?
In Memphis, Tennessee. Huh. Okay? Remember, King phones, his house was wiretapped by the government. And they used to send him threats all the time. Why don't you kill yourself, boy? Kill yourself, boy. They did the same to Malcolm X. Okay? So this was done by the U.S. government. I don't care what nobody said. You can't tell me no different. And that's a fact because that's our enemy. Okay? And they took out King, Kennedy, and Robert Kennedy. Anybody that was outspoken and spoke the truth to expose this country, you were taken out. Yes. Yeah.
Evans had to build his house in a way that he was trying to prevent from getting shot. So he I don't know how he didn't kind of move his floors a certain way so that they couldn't shoot him, but they still got him.
Yeah, they still got him because they listen, they set you up, they watch you, they monitor you, all right? They tap your phone, okay? They monitor you and they do all these things. They watch you. They have people that's work for them that's inside, okay, in the inside, all right? So
Evans was shot and killed in the driveway.
In the driveway? Yeah, that was a setup. Yes.
So
I remember when I used to be in Connecticut. I used to be under R. He used to say that the driver shot Kennedy, and I was like, I mean, I had never had no evidence of that until I saw a video. They slowed down the video of Kennedy getting shot. They showed the driver going like this.
Yeah, that's
like this,
yeah.
real fast.
It's a lot of people. There's a lot of evidence of showing. Yeah. Yeah, that's why they said when Kennedy's wife saw it, she tried to run off on the back of the car. She was trying to escape out of the car. You understand? Yeah. So this country is a treacherous country, man. Treacherous, man, towards us, man, and towards their own people. And that's why the Most High is going to destroy it with fire and brimstone. Okay? And the judgment is coming. All right? So let me finish this here. All right? So the war on drugs began with Nixon. That's where Bush, that's where Reagan, and that's where all the Republicans got that from Nixon. He began with the war on drugs. Okay? So in 1964, in the presidential campaign, Johnson was for civil rights. Johnson stood for civil rights. All right? And Goldwater was for state rights. He was another politician during that era. All right? So he wanted to hold on to white supremacy of the South, just like all the Republican leaders. All right? So Lyndon B. Johnson became the face of the civil rights in 1964 for the Democratic Party. He became the party that fought for the civil rights of black people. All right? So he enacted laws. As a president, he enacted laws on the books. Okay? And that's what you're supposed to do when you become a president. You enact laws. Okay? When Obama got there, he didn't do a damn thing for us. But he made sure he passed laws to protect Monsanto from being sued by the American public. That's why I don't like Obama. Everybody was cheering for him because he won. He's nothing but a damn inside spy for the U.S. government. Okay? He's just a damn camouflage working for the U.S. government. Whatever the hell he was, but he wasn't for us. And you should be very leery when a black person is put in that position. You understand? You put in that position not for the benefit of your people, but for the interest of the U.S. government. Okay? To keep their white supremacy going. That's all it is for. He was just a band-aid to hold back so the white man could get his position and his act together. You understand? That's all it was. That's all Obama was for. To pacify and to keep us, what? Under control. Keep us deceived momentarily while they distract us with something else.
He gave a free phone, Obama phone.
Free phone. That's all he did. But he made sure he passed the executive order to put us back in slavery. That's what he did. And you can look it up. I think it's a executive order 136. I'm not sure, but he passed that executive order while he was in office to put us back in slavery. That damn coon. Okay? A lot of your black leaders are nothing but staunch supporters to uphold white supremacy for this country, man. Okay? So Lyndon B. Johnson, this is what he did. He enacted rights to protect the voting rights. That's what he did. He put it in the laws, in the books. That's what he did. Now I'm going to show you a scripture on that. It's not so much that he did it. It was the Most High doing it just for that period of time for us to alleviate the oppression that we were going through. But now today, it's time to get the hell out of that damn politics. Fire for that. Burn it. Okay? Because whoever gets in office is going to do the same thing the other is going to do. Biden's not going to stop supporting the state of Israel by giving them arms and guns and weapons. He's going to support them until this place burns. Trump is going to do the same thing. Any president gets in office, they got to support Israel and keep that lie going that they're the Jewish people. But are they going to say you are the people of the Most High? They're not going to do it. But they're going to be forced to do it when the Most High bring a destruction, because Israel, that so-called imposter state, that fraudulent state, is going to drag them down into this third world war that's coming. All right? So Johnson, he enacted the voting rights, the rights to fair housing, you understand? The rights to prevent banks and employers from discriminating against us. Those are the laws that he enacted and put in law. You understand? He didn't just talk about it. He did it. While the rest of your president just talk about it but never did it. What did Biden do? Did he put anything in laws to protect us? No. They only talk about it. But it wasn't so much him that did it. It was the Most High that forced him and used him to do it.
That's mine. Let's put it on vibrate. Sorry.
When y'all come here, I got to put your phone on vibrates, man. Or turn it off, okay? Let's go to the book of Jeremiah 15:11. I'm going to show you something here. So a lot of people think, oh, the Democratic Party love us, oh, the Republican Party love us. None of them give a damn about us. They're all the same. But more so the Republican Party. You understand? But the Democrats are just cunning and crafty about how they do their things against us. All right? So let's go to the book of Jeremiah 15:11. Got it, Kataza? Jeremiah 15:11.
God. Reading out the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, verse 11. The Lord said, verily, it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily, I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil.
So you see that? This is the reason why it was done, the Democratic Party. The Most High did that so we could be relieved of the hard oppression. Read that verse again.
The Lord said, verily, it shall be well with thy remnant.
It's going to be well with our remnant. All right, go ahead.
Verily, I will cause the enemy to entreat.
Stop right there. He said, verily, I will cause the enemy And we all know who's the enemy. All right? I will cause the enemy to do what?
I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil.
See what the Most High did? The Most High caused the enemy to entreat us well in the time of evil. And that was the time of evil during that era that we was going through. So the Most High used the enemy to alleviate the hard oppression that we was going through. Now read the whole thing through again.
Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 11. The Lord said, verily, it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily, I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction.
See, in the time of evil and in the time of our affliction. And we were being afflicted during that era. You understand? Ain't no black person in their right mind could say we were not being afflicted during that era. All right? We were catching raw hell. Okay? From the time of the Jim Crow, from the clans, from police brutality, for unjust laws. Okay? Every form of hell we caught in this country. Okay? So the Most High caused the enemy, and he used Johnson to enact those rights and those laws to give us a little free, I won't say freedom. I don't like that word freedom because that word freedom means free-edom. We don't want him to be free. Okay? The Most High gave us a little liberty in this setup. Okay? But now, 2024, it's time to give that crap up of voting for damn people. Because all you're doing is voting for the same damn enemy that doesn't give a damn about you. Okay? Every last one of them. Democrats, Republicans, they're all the same thing. Remember, on the quarter, when you turn a quarter around, it has the eagle on it. It has two sides of it. Okay? Two sides of it. But they represent the same people that controls the same system. Okay? It's no different. One is just more craftier in the methods that they use against us. All right? And you can see that the Democrats are more craftier and more methodical in their devices that they use against us. The Republicans, they don't hide what they're about. They tell you straight up, we don't give a damn. You're not getting no rights. We don't care about you. But Democrats will smile with you and say, well, yeah, we empathize with blacks in the struggle. But behind that, they're the one that are upholding some of the basic laws to keep you in an oppressive state. All right? So, I just want to share that point and why a lot of our people vote Democratic. But now some of our people are starting to see that Democrat Party don't give a damn about them. Look at Biden. In this campaign that's coming up, Biden is under pressure now by Muslims that live in Michigan. Because you know Michigan has the largest Muslim population. And the Muslim population in Michigan is not voting for Biden. Why are they not voting for Biden? Let me see if y'all know why.
Because he's backing Israel?
He's backing and supporting Israel by them killing and genociding the people in Palestine. So the people in Michigan say, wait a minute. We're not going to vote for you if you continue supporting Israel and you massacring and genociding our people. So now he's in a toss-up. He's trying to, well, we talk to Netanyahu. You don't talk to no Netanyahu. If you want to talk to him, you'll cut off all military aid and you'll cut off all money from them if you want to stop the BS. But they don't want to stop it because Israel is what? Israel is what to America? Israel is two things to America. Let me see if y'all could pick up on it. What? Israel is two things to America, yes. That's one of it. That's true. That's very true. And what else?
They also fund the banking system.
Yeah. And what? Yes.
I'm going to say they're also secretly part of America. They're like the 51st state.
That's right. You could say Israel is actually the 52nd state of America. Okay? And Israel is a military base for the United States of America in that land. The state of Israel is a military state. Every civilian and citizen have a right to carry guns. It's a military state. It's an outpost for the United States in that era. Yes.
That's why they have this idea about making it a two-state.
A two-state, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's a military state for the United States. That's why the United States supports it with military arms. Listen, Israel gets more military arms than any country in the world. Okay? And they get the best and the latest high-tech weapons. Okay? And they've been had nuclear weapons since the 60s. I'm trying to say, we're not disclosing. They've been had it. The United States gave it to them. They have nuclear weapons because they have an option that they use called the Samson option. If their back is up against the wall and they see that they're losing, they're going to use that nuclear weapon. Okay? And America backs them fully, all the way, 100%. They're not going to stop supporting Israel. I don't care who gets in their office. Yes.
What's that name again?
It's called the Samson option.
Samson
Yeah,
option?
yeah. You know why it's called the Samson option, right? Who knows why? Who knows why it's called the Samson option?
Because they're going to kill themselves as well as like other.
Right. If we going down, we killing everybody with us. And what did Samson do before he died?
It's the same thing.
Samson did the same thing. He pushed down those two pillars and said, Most High, take me along with the enemies. And he killed more of the enemies in his lifetime in that one time that he pushed down the pillars. So they used the same concept that Samson did when he destroyed the Philistines. If we're going down, we're losing, we're taking everybody down with us. Bunch of devils, but they're going down no matter what. They're going down along with America because they're going to drag America into this war. And the American public is so stupid. Now, some of the American public now is waking up to it like, why the hell we supporting these people that don't give a damn about us? Some are starting to wake up and see the facts now. But some is so blindly, especially the evangelicals. Oh, we got to support the state of Israel. Israel is God's people. You're going to find out they're not the Most High people. And when they find out, man, I'm going to tell you this here, man. A lot of white people in this country, when they find out that these people are not the people of the Most High, they're going to start killing their political leaders, their scholars, and they're going to go into the churches and they're going to start killing a lot of their political leaders for teaching that lie to them and making them believe that lie. When they see this truth, man, what you going to see? Mark my words. They're going to grab their guns and they're going to go into their office and they're going to start popping off and destroying their political leaders and their scholars that taught these lies in the institutions. Because they're going to say, wait a minute, look what you have done. You have caused us to lose our country. And they're going to lose everything in the end. Okay? There ain't nothing left for America. There's no future for white America. No more future. It's over. Whatever they have now, they better use it now and take advantage because it's over. It's done. Ain't no coming back for white supremacy. White supremacy is dead after this year. Yes.
That's what said sometimes you say, you know what you said about with Samson, Bible said, you know, everybody will go down with me. But before that, remember now, Delilah ain't killing the Bible. So same thing. They don't kill the Bible.
No, Delilah was a damn Philistine African. She didn't care about him. But she was clever in what she did. She was clever. I understand. And she pried him and she working him. She used her emotion. She used skill. She used tact. She used craft. She used every method to wear him down.
And what was the last thing she used?
And she called the Philistines in. Come on in, Philistines. We got him now. But it wasn't just a one-time thing. It was a everyday thing. She keep, like you said, water dripping every day. Troop, 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 troop. Does more damage than water that comes down fully. That water that drip every day, constantly, is going to finally destroy everything. So she was every day praying with it. Samson, you don't love me, Samson. Samson, why you telling me lie? Look, I do all this for you. She was coaching him, whining, wearing his ears down. And he said, oh, okay, I'll tell you. Then he finally gave in. Okay, it's my hair. If you take my hair and weave it up together and bind me up, that's where my strength is. She was constantly trying to get at him to find his weakness. And he finally gave up his weakness. You understand? But she had to be a fine-looking Hamite woman in order for him to do that. She couldn't be no ugly damn Hamite woman. She couldn't be no, she couldn't be one of those. She had to be a fine-looking Hamite woman for him to fall for that, man. You understand? But they always say men that are big, strong, muscle bound are the most simplest of all mankind. The most simplest. They're only strong here, but they're not strong up here, man. You understand? A bunch of simp, man. You understand? Then at the end he realized what the Most High was showing. The Most High was using him to get back at the Philistines to destroy him. And they plucked his damn eyes off, man. They took out his eyes, man. You understand? Cut his damn hair off. Cut off his locks. But the locks was braids. You understand? You understand? They cut it off, man, and that took away his strength. And from his birth, he never cut his hair. Nothing. He wasn't supposed to drink wine, strong drink, nothing. A Nazarite from the day of his birth to his death. But he messed up. You understand? Yes.
Yeah, even when he got with well, he had a Hamite woman before.
Yeah, he loved them Hamite women.
And his parents even tried to, his father especially tried to tell him,
Why can't you get a woman of your own people? You're like, nah, I love the Hamite, I love the Hubo, I love them. And look what they did to him, man. That's a sign for us that we gotta stick with our own woman, man. Understand? Even though our woman give us hell, stick with your woman, man, your own people, man. You understand? Nobody gonna understand your plight like your own people, man. You understand? Going with these different white women talking about, oh, my wife. Your wife what? Piece of white trash dog. You understand? Yeah.
You got some Israelite brothers, they be trying to, with their white wife, trying to put fringes in.
And try to justify that crap. If the black woman give you a problem, go a white woman. No, brother. If your black woman give you a problem, get another sister. Don't go with no damn white woman, man. You understand? To hell with that. You understand? Leave them white trash dogs alone, man. Okay? Yeah. Leave them thing alone, man. Shoot. Yeah. All sisters ain't the same. You understand? Let me put this out there. All sisters are not the same. Okay? All of them is not evil and wicked like some sisters. Okay? So you have to differentiate. Yes, some sisters might give brothers a hard way to go, man. You understand? But never betray your people to go with the outside of another nation of people, man. Never do that, man. And that's the price we have to pay, man. Because when we give her here, we ain't leaving with our woman. You understand? We're not leaving with no other woman as our woman to go with us. We're leaving with our woman that came with us here, man. Okay? So I just want to put that out there. I know some people ain't going to like that, but I don't give a damn. Kick rocks. You understand? All right? So, but that's the aim and the method that this country is about. It's about white supremacy. It's about establishing their predominance and their eminence to rule this earth. And they're not going to change or give that up. I don't care how much black people they put in office, whether you're mayors or governors, they're not going to give up their rulership of ruling this country. Okay? I don't care how many token blacks you put in position. They're not going to give it up. They put you there just to appease the masses of us and to make you believe that you're getting somewhere to chase that false American dream. Chase a damn dream, which is a lie. Okay? So, enough of that, that segment with that Democrat prop, because I don't like politics. I don't like politicians. I never did. And when I came in the truth, I hated them more because they're the main problem to our people's problem, the friggin' politicians. In the islands, the same thing too. Taking damn money, using the people, taking the money. I don't give a damn about the people. Okay? Living good, got all the best cars, the best houses. I don't give a damn about their people, man. But take money from big corporations, from different nations. Okay? It was what I saw, I think that when St. Vincent had the volcano erupted in St. Vincent, in the island of St. Vincent, that St. Vincent had got a lot of money from a lot of countries and different stuff. And it was given to the prime minister. And all that money he got millions. Okay? And he didn't do a damn thing with that money to help to develop the people on the island of St. Vincent. But I guarantee a lot of money went to his pocket, to his family, and to all the people that's in his political arena. Because in the islands, you think it's bad up here? In the islands, they got their own political factions. right? You know about it, right, Caleb? Okay? If you're not of my political party, you ain't getting nothing. Nothing. Your dog dead. Okay? If my political party is in power, you getting everything. And the rest, that's why so much political violence, especially in Jamaica, where it was the PM, PNP and the JLP. Those two parties are rivals. And you had Siaga and Manley. And when they was in power, that's when you had the height of violence in Jamaica with those political parties, man. Okay? The height, people was dying every day. You think 10 people was something? Man, you have people dying every day all over because of those political parties.
I think it's the blood.
Yeah, worse than the friggin' Bloods on the Crips. And that's when Bob Marley went up on the stage and he unified both Marley and Siaga. And that was a great phenomenon when that happened because it was a lot of violence in Jamaica, man. Okay? And that's why Bob Marley got shot, part and part to that too. All right? There was a lot of violence in the islands, man. Okay? So politics is a dirty thing, man. It's dirty. It's grimy. Okay? And it's time for us to come out of that nonsense. All right? Let's go to Isaiah 30. I'm going to show you something in the book of Isaiah. Read Isaiah 30 and 1. Isaiah 30 and 1.
Reading out the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children.
See, you hear that word? Woe. Our words mean destruction. Woe to the rebellious children. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
And that's what our people are doing. They're adding sin to sin by trusting in these democratic and political parties. Okay, go ahead.
That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
And what are they doing? Strengthening themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. Who's the modern day Pharaoh today? The political leaders of today. Whether it's your president, your governors, your mayors. Okay? Because the Pharaoh was the only sole ruler of Egypt. By him, everything was decreed. Okay? Go ahead.
And to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
See? And to trust in the shadow of Egypt. You know what's a shadow? What is a shadow?
Like an image of
A reflection of something of you.
right.
So a shadow is not really real.
Right.
It's just a reflection of you. So our people trusting in the shadow of Egypt. They trusting in this system more than they have more trust than in the Most High. When you talk to a lot of people that vote, they got more trust in this political system than they have of the Most High. They put that on the line before the Most High. And they're going to find out trusting in this political system is going to bring you down. Let's find out. Let's read on. Let's go ahead.
Verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be ashamed.
See what it said? Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh. You put in all your strength in your presidential leaders and political party is going to be your shame. It's going to bring you to shame in the last days. Continue.
And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion.
Your confusion. And that's what it's going to cause confusion. Okay? Now go over here to Isaiah 31 and read the first verse.
Reading out the book of Isaiah, chapter 31, verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help.
See again? See that word again? Woe? Most I keep bringing that word woe. And that word woe means destruction. Woe to them that go down to Egypt. It's not talking about going back to physical Egypt. We're here in spiritual Egypt now. Back then, we was doing that during the time of Isaiah and prior to Isaiah. We were going back, trusting in Egypt for alliances, trusting in the government, trusting in Egypt to help us. Just like we're doing today, trusting in Egypt to help us. Read that verse again.
Isaiah 31:1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because there are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong.
And ain't America economical power and military power strong? Yes. So everybody look up to it and trust in it. But remember, it's all going to come down. It's just a matter of time. Go ahead.
But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord.
And that's what our people do. They're not looking to the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Yet he also is wise, and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers.
And who's the house of evildoers? This country, this government. This is the house of evildoers. Go ahead.
And against the help of them that work iniquity.
Okay, now, who's the help of them that work iniquity? Who's the help of them that work iniquity?
Is it our people?
Our people that's helping to keep this thing going. Read again.
And against the help of them that work iniquity.
And that's what we're doing. We're helping them to keep this iniquity going by trusting in it. Continue.
Verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men, and not God.
See? Go ahead.
And their horse is flesh, and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall fail together.
You see that? Read again, but read it with a little more, with a little more, You understand? Like you love a woman when you rap into her. Okay? Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 31, verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men, and not God, and their horse is flesh, and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that help.
See? Both he that helpeth, those that in it and those that helping our people. Go ahead.
Both he that helpeth shall fail, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together.
So you see that. So it's a warning to our people. Get the hell out of politics now. Now. Drop that damn crap right now. It's over. Forget about that politics and voting. It doesn't matter who you vote for. America is still going down. And whoever gets in there is going to enact policies against you in the last days, because they know that America is going down. And the Most High tells you, this beast is going to fight against you in the last days. They're coming against you. Okay? They don't give a damn. They know what time it is. The mass of our people, don't know what time it is. We think America is going to go on for another 100 years. We're going to become greater in this country. No. No, 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 no. Your greatness is going to be over on the other side, not here. Okay? This place is done. Okay? Go to Revelation 12. Okay? Because what are people going to find out? This beast is coming against you. All right? This beast is not for you. Let's go into Revelation 12.
Starting at.
And you're going to start here from let's start here from the 9th verse. Revelation 12 and 9.
Reading out the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now has come salvation.
See, now has come salvation. Our salvation is coming now. Now is the time that our salvation is coming. Go ahead.
And strength. And the kingdom of our power.
And the kingdom of the Most High is coming to us. All right, go ahead.
And the power of his Christ.
And the power of Yahushua HaMashiach. All right, go ahead.
For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb.
And that's the only way we're going to overcome, through the blood of Yahushua. You're not going to overcome by voting for a Democratic president or a Republican candidate. None of those ways are you going to overcome. The only way you're going to overcome is through the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. Continue.
And by the word of their testimony.
And by the word of their testimony. This is the testimony, the old and new. Okay, go ahead.
And they love not their lives unto the death. Verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth.
See, hear a word again. Woe. That word, woe. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth. Why is he saying woe? Because destruction and judgment is coming. Go ahead.
To the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath.
Which devil is he talking about? It ain't talking about some spiritual devil? No, it's talking about the physical devil here that's ruling this earth. He's going to come down upon us having great wrath. All right, go ahead.
Because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
See, he knows he have a short time left to rule this earth. And his time is up. Continue.
Verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child.
And that's what they're going to do. They're going to start to persecute us because the truth is going to be brought out. And when this truth comes out, they're going to be angry. They're going to be mad. I don't think they're going to be happy to find out that you are the Most High people, that Christ is black, the angels is black, and his people are black. They ain't going to like that. There's only very few of them. Might say, yeah, okay, I'll go along with it. But the master of these yahoos, they ain't gonna like that. They ain't gonna like that. All right, go ahead.
Verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly to
Okay,
the
that's
wilderness.
that. Lose that. Go to the Apocrypha. Go to 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. I want to show you something here. Because a lot of people think that this country really going to embrace us and things are going to change. We might get Kamala Harris to be president.
What?
Yeah, keep dreaming. All right? And if it does happen, she's going to be worse than the oppressor. All right, 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. And start here from, you're going to start here from, start from the 70th verse.
Read out the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection.
See that? A great insurrection. You know what's an insurrection? Uprising, uproars, wars, tumult, civil wars. Okay? And civil wars is coming to this baby. It's coming.
Like what happened at the U.S. Capitol
Okay?
January 6th. So
And that's it'll be worse than that.
come.
Okay? Go ahead.
Upon those that fear the Lord.
You hear what it says? A great insurrection upon those that fear the Most High. So what is that telling you? They're coming against the righteous. Those that fear the Most High and keep the Most High laws and testimony. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord.
See who's going to be the target? We are. Then the other Israelites that don't know nothing, that don't give a damn. But their main target is going to be against those that know the Most High, that understand the Most High and understand the prophecy of this Bible and know who they are. Read that verse again.
They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord.
Go ahead.
Verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses.
Mm-hmm.
Then shall they be known who are my chosen.
See, and it's going to be known who are the Most High's chosen people in this country before it goes out. Before it goes up in smoke and fire and brimstone. Okay, go up.
And they shall be tried as the gold in the fire.
And that's how we're going to be tried, like gold in the fire. Okay? And the best of gold is tried in fire, man. Why is gold tried in fire? To bring out the best of that gold, to take off all the impurities. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 74, hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand.
See, the days of trouble are at hand. That's what's coming. Ain't no more good days coming to America. Okay, let's get this straight. It's going to be pure hell in this place. All right, go ahead.
But I will deliver you from the same.
See, but the Most High is going to deliver us from the same. And that's going to take place while the destruction is coming. We're going to be delivered at the same time, simultaneously. As America is being totally destroyed, we're going to be delivered out of here with the chariots, with Yahweh and the angels. All right, go ahead.
Verse 75, be ye not afraid.
Most High said, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Go ahead.
Neither doubt.
Don't doubt the Most High. Okay, go ahead.
For the Most High is your guide.
The Most High is our guide, not democracy. Not Biden, not Trump. No religions, no politricks. That's what I always call it from a young boy going, politricks. Because that's all it is, politricks. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 76, and the God of them who keep my commandments
See?
and precepts.
And the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts. Go ahead.
Saith the Most High our power. Let not your sins weigh you down.
See, don't let your sins weigh you down. Don't add more sins to your sins. Don't let your sins weigh you down. You sin, get up, shake it off, repent, and get back up on that horse and start right into the finish line. You get on, you say, yeah, rah, let's go. Ah. You whip that horse to that finish line. You don't stay down there and say, oh, oh, oh. Get the hell up, shake yourself from that dust, man, and repent. That's what you got to do. Don't be wallowing in your sins. You mess up, you face the east, you repent, and you ask the Most High to forgive you. And you stay on that course. Don't continue doing evil and wickedness. Go ahead.
And let not your iniquities lift up themselves.
See, don't let your iniquities outweigh your righteousness. Don't let iniquities be more than your righteousness. Okay? Because iniquities will lift himself up over your righteousness. So you got to defeat iniquity and exalt righteousness. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 77. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins.
See what it says? Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins. All right? Go ahead.
And covered with their iniquity.
See? And you covered with iniquity. You don't want to be covered with iniquity. Go ahead.
Like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through.
Right. If a place is covered with thorns and everything, you can't pass through there. It's going to cut you up. It's going to scratch you up. You got to cut it down. You know, they have a tree in the island called monkey don't climb tree. Everybody know about that? Because monkey don't climb a tree. It has thorns on it. Monkey don't climb that tree. The monkey climb, you go get stick all over it. So they call it a monkey don't climb tree. That's one tree a monkey doesn't climb. Okay? So if thorns are all in your way, you can't pass through there because it's being overcovered. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 78. It is left undressed, and is cast unto the fire to be consumed therewith.
And that's the end result of it. The fire is that destruction. All right? So that's enough with that politics bullcrap that our people are into. It's just a warning to our people. Get the hell out of politics now. Get out from it. Leave it alone. Okay. Now, my next part of my class is the gods of Egypt. Okay. And we see that Passover is coming up. And when we came out of Egypt, it was during the Passover. And the Most High whipped Egypt and destroyed all their gods. Okay? And Egypt had many gods. Many gods. Okay? And they reverenced those gods to be the Most High. And the Most High had to show them that these gods were not the Most High. Especially one of the gods that they had, the sun god Ra. That's the reason why the Most High brought the 3 days of darkness in Egypt, to show the sun god Ra that you not know God. You can't bring light when I bring that darkness. And sun god Ra failed. They was calling, oh Ra, help us, Ra. Ra was in no way to help you when the Most High brought those 3 days of darkness. Okay? And the Most High is going to show every nation on this earth that their gods ain't nothing. But before we go to that, I want to show you a scripture in the Wisdom of Solomon, where the Most High said spiritual fornication was the beginning of spiritual idolatry, worship of these false gods. Go here to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, I think it's the 16th chapter. No, 14. Right. Start from the 8th verse. Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter, the 8th verse.
Reading out the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 8. But that which is made with hands is cursed, as well it is as he that made it. He, because he made it, and it, because being corruptible, it was called God.
See? And anything that was corruptible, oh, that's a God. See how foolish man was? Made it into a God. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 9, for the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto our power.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10, for that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it.
And that's what the Most High did to Egypt. He punished their gods and he punished the people, the Pharaoh and the people. All right, go ahead.
Verse 11, therefore even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation.
And that's what's coming to this country, because this country is full of idols. All right, go ahead.
Because in the creature of the Most High they are becoming an abomination.
See, it's becoming an abomination. Go ahead.
And stumbling blocks to the souls of men.
See, and it's become a stumbling blocks. This become a stumbling blocks to the souls of men. And they think these are gods. Well, we have to pray to the ancestors because these are the gods. Okay, go ahead.
And a snare to the feet of the unwise.
See, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. So if you're unwise, it becomes a snare to you. Continue.
Verse 12, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
So you see that? For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. All right, go ahead.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life. Go ahead.
Verse 13, for neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 14, for by the vainglory of men they entered into the world.
See? For what reason? For by the vainglory of men. Vainglory. All right? They entered into the world. Go ahead.
And therefore shall they come shortly to an end.
And it's going to come shortly to an end. The Most High is going to abruptly destroy all this garbage in the day of his judgment. Go ahead.
Verse 15, for a father afflicted with untimely mourning when he had made an image of his child, soon taken away, now honored him as a god, which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law. The graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
See, by the commandments of kings, and that's what the Pharaoh king of Egypt did, and he had people worshiping these gods, and that's what all nations did. The leaders and the rulers had the people worshiping these false gods, and who fell into that nonsense too? We eventually fell into that, doing the same crap that the nations were doing. All right, continue.
Verse 17, whom men could not honor in presence, because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far, and made an express image of a king, whom they honored to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent.
Okay, that's it. So, but when you get a chance, you can read this whole chapter. So let's go from there. All right, let's go to the book of Exodus. We're going to show you about the gods of Egypt, because all the plagues that the Most High brought was upon all the gods of Egypt. They had 10 major gods that they worshiped, and that's why the Most High brought those 10 plagues on Egypt. Okay, so let's go here to the book of let's go to the book of Exodus, the 7th chapter. Exodus 7. I'll tell you what, start here. Let's start from the first verse. Now, what was the first plague that the Most High brought upon Egypt? Right. He turned the water into blood. Why? Why did the Most High attack first the water?
That's something they need to drink and clean their bodies, I guess.
Right. And it was also one of the gods of the Egyptians. Remember, the Nile was one of the greatest rivers that the Egyptian reverenced. They reverenced that Nile River. Okay? But the Egyptians didn't call it Nile. That's a name that came from the Greek. All right? The Egyptian word for river is eteru. Eteru is the Egyptian word for river. Okay? But the name for the Nile, it had a name for the Nile River that the Egyptian called it. Yes.
And then that's what gave them their power.
Right. That was the greatest source, the Nile River. It brought agriculture. It fertilized the land. It was everything to them, man. They worshiped that river, man. That was like a great god to them. All right? Okay, and that river was called the Hapi. The Hapi. That was the god that was over that river. H-A-P-I. And we're going to read about that, all right? So let's start from Exodus 7 and read the first verse.
Reading out the book of Exodus, chapter 7, verse 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, See, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. Verse 2, Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Israel out of his hand. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4, But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand unto Egypt, and bring forth my armies, and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgment.
See, by great judgments. And that's what the Most High is going to do to this country. Great judgments is coming for this spiritual Egypt. Go ahead.
Verse 5, And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, which I stretch forth my hand, when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among them.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses and Aaron did as the Lord commanded them, so did they. Verse 7, And Moses was fourscore years old, and Aaron 80 years old, when they spake unto Pharaoh.
See, so Moses was 80 years old and Aaron was 83 years. And that 80 years was the time of the slavery. That's the length of the slavery in Egypt, from the time Moses was born until the Exodus, because the slavery began when Moses was born. It wasn't no 400 years, 430 years in Egypt as slaves. That's a lie. Okay? It was only 80 years of slavery in Egypt. The slavery began when Moses was born, and it ended when Moses brought us out of Egypt. And this all transpired within a week to 2 weeks of time, when Moses went before Pharaoh. Right? This was in years after. Okay? And how do you know that the slavery was only 80 years? Let's go to Acts the 7th chapter, because Moses was born when the slavery took place. All right, let's go to the book of Acts 7 and coming back right here. Acts the 7th chapter. Acts 7, and we're going to start here from the 17th verse.
We're at the book of Acts chapter 7, verse 17. But when the time of the promise drew near, which the Most High had shown to Abram, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt. Verse 18, till another king arose, which knew not Joseph.
Okay, and that's when the oppression started, after Joseph died. While Joseph ruled in Egypt, there wasn't no slavery of us in Egypt. And it took a period of time before the slavery came in. All right? And that other king that came afterwards, he didn't regard Joseph. He didn't give a damn about Joseph, because they was taken back over Egypt, because the Hyksos had just fell from ruling Egypt. So this was a native Egyptian king coming back to take back over Egypt, which came from the upper Egypt, from the Thebes dynasty of Egypt. And that pharaoh was Ammuz, that came back and took back Egypt from the Hyksos. Then his son, Amenhotep I, ruled. And that was that king, Amenhotep I, the one that knew not Joseph. All right, continue.
The same dealt separately with our kindred.
Speak up, brother.
Yeah, you got to read, but read with more passion and fervor as Kataza.
Verse 19, the same dealt subtly with our kindred, and evil entreated our fathers, so that they cast out their young children, to the end they might not live.
Go
Verse
ahead.
20, in which time Moses was born.
See, in which time Moses was born? In the time of the slavery. Moses was born right in the time of the slavery. And when Moses was born, that's when the slavery started. And it ended when Moses brought us out of Egypt, when he went before Pharaoh. And that was only 80 years. Continue.
And was exceeding fair, and nourished up in his father's house 3 months. Verse 21, and when he was cast out, Pharaoh's daughter took him up, and nourished him for her own son.
So she raised him as an Egyptian. Okay, so Moses, when he got to that age, from about the age of 3 months, he went into Pharaoh's daughter's house, and he became known as a prince of Egypt. But Moses knew he was a Hebrew, because eventually, when he saw the Egyptians killing his brother, he said, wait a minute, man, this got to stop, man. So he grew up as an Egyptian, fluent in Egypt, spoke Egyptian, and was a general in the Egyptian army. All right, go ahead.
Verse 22, and Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians.
So Moses went to the best schools in Egypt. Like he said, you go to the best school in America, the best charter schools, the best private school to be educated. That's what Moses went through, into the highest form of education in Egypt, where he was well learned in Egyptian military warfare, science, the whole works. That's why Moses couldn't speak to us, because he didn't speak the Hebrew. That's why he told Aaron to speak, because Aaron spoke the Hebrew. Moses only spoke the Egyptian. You understand? Because Moses was learned in all the wisdom of Egypt, just like Joseph. But Joseph knew both languages.
Okay.
Joseph knew Egyptian and the Hebrew. You understand? Because remember, when his father came before Pharaoh, he was speaking to the Pharaoh and to his brothers, even though he had translators. But Joseph knew both the Hebrew and the Egyptian language, because Joseph lived longer in Egypt than Moses. You understand? Joseph was sold into Egypt at the age of 17. And at the age of 30, he became ruler over Egypt. And he ruled for 80 years in Egypt as a vizier in Egypt. And he made Egypt great. That's why the Most High put him in that position, so he could be in place. So when we come into Egypt, we could have place in Egypt. And he told his brothers that. He said, it wasn't you that sold me. It was the Most High that made you do it so I could provide for you when you came down here in Egypt. That's what that dream was about. And nobody exceeded Joseph when he came into rulership except the Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Joseph was the man in Egypt. He was calling the shots for 80 years. And he died at the age of 110. Yes.
On the down low, Joseph was the king.
He was a man, yeah. The king respected him, man. If it was possible, that I made him king. You understand? But the Most High made it that way because we were still, what? Strangers in their land. All right? And Moses almost came to that position too. Well, after Moses killed that Egyptian, Moses said, time to get out of Egypt, man. The Egyptians know. They're going to kill me now. All right? Because Moses, he probably strangled him or stabbed him or something and buried him in the sand. But I think more than likely choke him out. Choke him out, you damn Egyptian. Yeah, choke him out and bury him in the sand. You don't mess with my people, man. All right? Okay, continue reading.
And was mighty in words and in deeds.
See, he was mighty in words and deeds. And the Most High had a spirit upon Moses. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 23. And when he was full 40 years old, it came unto his heart to visit his brethren.
See, when he was 40 years old. He was still in Egypt at that time. Then after that 40 years, when he killed that Egyptian, he ran out of Egypt, man. Gotta go. He remembered his people. He wasn't like the rest of the coons. I don't care about my people. These coons today in political office. That's why I can't stand these coons today, man. Yeah.
That's the same thing you're saying. When he fled into Egypt, the Most High still had him in training.
Yeah.
You know,
The Most High had him in training, yeah. Because if he had stayed in Egypt, the Pharaoh would have killed him. Because that's treason. That's high level of treason, man. Okay, go ahead. Read that 23 verse again.
23. And verse 23. And when he was full 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 24. And seeing one of them suffer long, he defended him.
See? So the Egyptian was oppressing his people, doing them wrong. All right, go ahead.
And avenged them that was oppressed, and smote the Egyptian.
And he killed that Egyptian. That's a treason right there. All right, go ahead.
Verse 25. For he supposed his brethren would have understood how that power by his hand would deliver them. But they understood not.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 26. And the next day he showed himself unto them as they strove, and would have set them at one again, saying, Sirs, are ye our brethren? Why do ye wrong one to another? For he that did his neighbor wrong trust him away, saying, Who made thee a ruler and a judge over us?
So the one that did the wrong said, yo, man, Who are you, man? Who are you to tell me what to do? Who are you to, are you a ruler over me? It's always the one that's in the wrong. Always got something to say.
That's how you know it's our people, man.
You understand? That's our people. Yo, who you think you are? Huh? Who you think you are? Huh? You big boss over me now? You gonna tell me what to do now, nigga? That's our people for you, man. Yeah, who died and made you God now? But he is gonna be a God. The Most High said Moses was a God. All right? Go ahead.
Yeah. Hang on. What we was up to?
No, you're in 20, you're in 27.
I just read 27.
Yeah, 28, yeah.
Okay. Verse 28. Wilt thou kill me as thou didst the Egyptian yesterday?
So he said, you gonna kill me now? You gonna kill me now, nigga? Like you killed that Egyptian? So now he's burning up Moses' scene right now. Because you know he's talking loud and making a big scene. You know, that's our people. Try to make a big scene. Yo, so what? So what now? You gonna kill me now like you killed the Egyptian? Huh? What you gonna do? You got beef for me now too, Negro? You know our people, man. That's how we act, man. Yeah.
And you notice, at that point, he could have easily killed him.
Right.
But what he did, because he know that was his people.
He took the low. He took the low. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 29. Then fled Moses at this saying, and was a stranger in the land of Midian.
See, so Moses fled at the age of 40, and he stayed in Midian for another 40 years. That's when he came back to Egypt. So now when we go back now to Exodus, this is when he came to Pharaoh, when he was 80 years old. So he spent 40 years in the land of Midian, then he came back now. The Most High said, you go and you talk to Pharaoh, you tell Pharaoh what I'm going to do. And remember, all these plagues transpired. They came back to back. It wasn't years after. It was like probably a week after. Within days, they accumulate to about a week. All these plagues happened right before the Passover. All right? So go back to Exodus, the 7th chapter now. All right? What verse we left off in Exodus 7?
Verse 8.
Okay. Read on.
Reading out the book of Exodus chapter 7, verse 8. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, verse 9, when Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, take thy rod, and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. Verse 10, and
See,
Moses...
But, nah, I was going to say something, but I'll leave it for our next class. All right? So I could expound more and show you the Hebrew word. Who knows the Hebrew word for serpent? Yeah, I could Google it. Google it and look it up. Ask Google, what's the Hebrew word for serpent?
Is it a sea monster?
Mm-mm. The sea monster is a crocodile. It was a crocodile. All right? Nakash.
The Hebrew word, nahas, is used in the Hebrew Bible to identify the serpent that appears in Genesis chapter 3, verse 1.
See?
Garden of Eden.
The Hebrew word is nakash. But when you go back to Genesis, that's what it says in Genesis. But here, that Hebrew word there is not nakash. All right? It's another meaning. Yeah, nakash. Yeah, that's the Hebrew word for serpent. But in this right here, in this verse here, the Hebrew word there is not nakash. Okay? It says sea monster, which is a crocodile. Because the crocodile was a god in Egypt. The god Sebek. You understand? But that's for another class. I'm going to show you how to understand of it right here. It wasn't really a serpent. It was a crocodile. All right? Because the Hebrew word here is not nakash. But you will see it in Genesis, the 2nd chapter, nakash. All right? Yes. Next class. I'm sure you are. Because the crocodile was synonymous with what? The Nile River. All right? And they had a god of that river, which was the god called Hapi, and the crocodile god was called Sobek. Right. And you ever see have a drink in the store called Sobek with a crocodile on it? Yeah. All right. So in the next class, I'm going to go in and show you that. Okay. So continue reading on.
Verse 10. And Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 11. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers.
See? So Pharaoh called the wise men and the sorcerers. They were dealing in a high level of sorcery. So now, if Egypt was dealing in sorcery and witchcraft, does America deal in witchcraft and sorcery too? You're damn right they do. And they surpass the Egyptian now in their level of witchcraft and sorcery. This country is a top demonic witchcraft society, man. Okay? That's what the scripture said. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against what? Principalities, man, in high places. Okay? This country wields some high level of witchcraft and sorcery that controls the minds of our people. Okay? So read that verse again.
Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers. Now the magicians of Egypt.
And he called the magicians too. Okay? Okay, go ahead.
They also did it in like manner with their enchantments.
So they try to do the same thing with their enchantments too. Remember, all kingdoms had this here. Warlocks, witches, magicians, sorcerers, every kingdom upon the face of the earth. And this is the last kingdom that's doing it. Because remember, America modeled itself off of ancient Egypt too. But they won't tell you that. But it's all there, and all the symbols and everything that they do, it's modeled off of ancient Egypt. That seal they have with the eagle, where did that come from? Egypt, from the phoenix bird. Everything that they have, the symbols, everything that they have goes right back to Egypt. That's why the Most High calls this spiritual Egypt. This country have more pyramids than any other country in the world. And they brought two major pyramids, obelisks, from Egypt. There's one in Central Park and Washington, D.C., and there's also another one here in New York, too. One that stands right there in Central Park and one in Washington, D.C. They brought it directly from Egypt.
In the state where I come from, Alabama, they have mounds, but I know that's a little different.
Yeah.
They look like pyramids.
Yeah, so they try to embody it and symbolize Egypt to the highest degree. But they won't tell you that. I love the what they call democracy and what they got from. It ain't come from no damn Greeks.
Right.
They got it from the Persians and the Egyptians. Because remember, who was the first nations that the Greeks conquered? The Persians. The first nations the Greeks conquered was the Persians. So what did the Greeks take from the Persians? Everything that they had before them. Then after that, they went down to Egypt and established Egypt and took from Egypt. And talking about hypocrites and all these guys. They took from what Egypt had. And they passed it on to the Romans all the way down to America. Remember, America and all these Europeans is based on what? Stolen legacy. Everything about them is a stolen legacy. Rape, rob, murder, pillage. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 12. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods.
Mm-hmm.
And he hardened Pharaoh's heart, that he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. Verse 14. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened.
So the Most High said, listen, Moses, his heart is hardened. He's not going to turn. He's not going to change. He's going to be stubborn all the way until I destroy him. And that's why the Most High said, for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that my name might be declared all throughout the face of the earth. The same way the Most High raised up ancient Pharaoh is the same way the Most High raised up America so his name could be declared in the face of the earth. All praises to the Most High. Go ahead.
Pharaoh's heart is hard, and he refuseth to let the people go. Verse 15. Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goeth out into the river, and thou shalt stand by the river's brink.
See, now he's gone to the river brink, which was the Nile. All right, go ahead.
The river's brink against he come, and the rod which was turned to a serpent shalt thou take in thy hand. Verse 16. And thou shalt say unto him, the most high power of the Hebrews has sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hitherto thou wouldest not hear. Verse 17. Thus said the Most High, and this shall know that I am the Most High. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand, upon the waters which are in the rivers, and they shall be turned to blood.
And that was the first plague, and it turned into blood. Okay, so the word turned to blood is the Egyptian god called Hapi, Hapi. All right, it was the Egyptian god of the Nile. It was also known as the water bearer. Okay, that god was called Hapi, Hapi. All right, continue.
Verse 18. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink of the water of the river. Verse 19. And the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, take thy rod, and stretch out thy hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon the streams, upon the rivers, and upon the ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that they may be blood to us all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of blood and in vessels of stone.
Right, so the Most High turned everything into blood. And you know, if you turn the water into blood, you can't drink none. So they figure if the river was turned to blood, maybe the water that they had in the vessels in the house might be good. So they went to go check the vessels to see if there's water. But so it turned to blood. So the Most High said, I'm gonna let you bastards get thirsty around here. All right? And you know, when you get thirsty, it's a bad feeling, man. So the Most High said, you're going to drink blood, okay? So the Most High know how to get you, man. So with all that, they still didn't repent, man. All right? Continue.
Verse 22. And the Egyptians of Egypt did so with their enchantments. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Neither did he hearken unto me, as the Lord has said. And Pharaoh turned and went into his house. Neither did he set his heart to this also. Verse 24. And all the Egyptians dig round about the rivers for water to drink, but they could not drink of the waters of the river.
Right, so they were digging, looking for water, man. Okay, go ahead.
And after 7 days were filled, after that, the Lord had smitten the rivers.
Okay, now go over here to Exodus, the 8th chapter. All right? Exodus, the 8th chapter. Start from the first verse.
Reading out the book of Exodus, chapter 8, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, go unto Pharaoh, and say unto him, thus said the Lord, let my people go, that they may serve me. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs.
See? Now frogs symbolize what? What does frogs symbolize? To one degree. What else does it represent? Remember, wherever there's fresh drinking water, you will find frogs too. There's a saying, if there's not frogs in the water is good. If there's no frogs in the water, don't drink the water. But when there's frogs in the water, mean the water is good, spring water. Frogs represents what? It's also something else. Fertility. Notice when frogs have tadpoles, what do you see? When frogs have tadpoles or little babies, it's in what? Thousands of them, right? Thousands. Frogs represents fertility. All right? So that frog god was a god named Heket. I'm going to spell it for you. The fertility god. All right? Heket is spelled H-E-K-E-T. H-E-K-E-T. That was the frog god, the Egyptian goddess of fertility. All right? It means water, renewal, birth. All right? So that was the god over that frog god, Heket. When you see the Egyptian symbol, it's a woman with a frog, face with a frog over her. All right? And he represents that goddess of fertility. All right? So continue reading on.
Verse 3. And the rivers shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into thy house, and into thy bedchamber.
And when the frogs start doing it, then it becomes unclean. You understand? Frog jumping all over. Jumping all over your bed, all over. That's a disgusting sight, man. Jumping in your pots and your stove. You boiling that sucker. You understand? All right, go ahead.
And upon the bed, and into the house of the servants.
Right, and you imagine that, into the house of the servant, frogs running all over. And you know, the Egyptians, they thought they were so high and mighty. You understand? To everybody else were like inferior to them. They was like, we're the guards. Don't touch me. They look down on you, man. They scorn you. And that's why when Joseph and his father and his brothers came to Egypt, what did he tell them to tell the Pharaoh of Egypt? Remember what he told them? He said, when you go before the Pharaoh of Egypt, tell him what's your occupation. That you're shepherds. Why? Because the Egyptians hated shepherds. Now, but those were not the native Egyptians that was ruling. Those were the H.O.D.C rulers that was ruling. Because the H.O.D.Cs were shepherd farmers just like us. So when Job told him, he said, listen, when you go before Pharaoh, tell him your occupation, that you're a shepherd. And he was going to put you in the best land, which was in the land of Goshen. The Egyptians didn't like shepherds, man. They hated us. They despised us, man. So Joseph told him, when you go before Pharaoh, he told him before that, he told his father and his brother, he said, listen, tell the Pharaoh, when you go before, he's going to ask you, what's your occupation? Tell him you're shepherds. And he's going to put you in the best land, which was in Goshen. Because the H.O.D.Cs ruled in the same land that we was living in. The H.O.D.Cs live in Avaris, and we live in Goshen, the best part of Egypt, the most fertilest part of Egypt. So that's what he told his father and his brothers, say you're shepherds. Because to be a shepherd was an abomination to the Egyptians. They looked down on you. They scorn you, man. You're a peasant. You low. You're down there. Remember, the Egyptians was some what you call arrogant and proud people, just like these white devils over here. The same way. They were very proud and arrogant, man. This is Egypt. We're the greatest of all people. And you people are just peasants. We're the gods. And the Greeks took on that same crap, copied from the Egyptians. All right? Okay, so go ahead.
And upon thy people, and into thy ovens.
See, the frogs are jumping into the ovens too. Imagine that, man. You eating baked frog? All right, go ahead.
And into thy knitted trots.
Right, all into the wheat, into the kneading trough where they were making dough and stuff, kneading the dough. The frogs jump into that, ribbit, 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 ribbit. All right, go ahead.
Verse 4. And the frogs shall come up both on thee, and upon thy people, and upon all thy servants.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch forth thy hand with thy rod over the stream, over the rivers, and over the pond, and frogs, and cause frogs to come up upon the land of Egypt.
And the frogs came up all over Egypt, man. That's all you saw, nothing but frogs jumping all over. Yes.
Yeah, but it reminds me when John Boca said that the birds so feast on the body.
Yeah.
The frogs at that time seemed like it's just feasting on that.
Yeah, the frogs was all up in there, man. And that's like a what? So the Most High was making mockery of your God. Now tell your God Heket to get rid of these frogs. And Heket couldn't do nothing. Heket couldn't get rid of the gods because that was the frog god. So the Most High was showing you, if your gods are so good, stop your gods from preventing the frogs from coming all over Egypt. And the gods couldn't do nothing. So the Most High was making mockery of them. Most High was making mockery of them. Yeah, see if your God could chase away those frogs now. Call on your God. See how good, great your gods are. All right? And the Most High was showing us too that He is the power. There ain't no gods. All right? Hallelujah. The Most High is bad, man. All right? Go ahead.
And the frogs shall come up both on thee and upon thy people and upon all thy servants. Verse 5. And the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch forth thy hand with the rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds. Cause frogs to come up upon the land of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron stretched out his hand with the rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and caused frogs to come up unto the land of Egypt. And Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt.
Right.
And
They covered it, man. It was all over, man. Up in their palaces, up in the finest quarters, it was all over. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Just jumping, looking at them smiling, licking out their tongue. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. All over, man. That's a nasty sight, man. They probably were dropping crap all over the place, too. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 7, and the Egyptians did so with their enchantments, and brought up frogs upon the land of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron, and said, entreat the Lord.
He said, man, entreat your God. Let your God do something about this, man. All right, go ahead.
That he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may do sacrifice unto the Lord.
Still were lying. That wasn't true. He just said so he could get the frogs out of Egypt. All right, go ahead.
And Moses said unto Pharaoh, glory over me. Verse 8. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the Lord that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people.
You read that. Yeah, jump to 9.
And Moses said unto Pharaoh, glory over me. When shall I entreat for thee and for thy servants and for thy people to destroy the frogs from thee and thy houses, that they may remain in the river only?
You see? Says frogs in the river. Yeah, it represents life. All right, go ahead.
To verse 10, and he said tomorrow, and he said, be it according to thy word, that thou mayest know that there is none like unto the Most High our power.
See, there's none like unto the Most High our power. None. None of the gods of the nation ain't nothing. Go ahead.
Verse 11, and the frogs shall depart from thee, and from thy houses, and from thy servants, and from thy people. They shall remain in the river only. Verse 12, and Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried unto the Lord because of the frogs, which he had brought against Pharaoh. And the Lord did according to the word of Moses, and the frogs died out of the houses, out of the villages, and out of the fields. And they gathered them together upon heaps. And the
Can you
land.
imagine that? Ugh. Imagine that, stinking. A pile of dead frogs, man. Moses said, hey, y'all got some work to do now. Go ahead.
And the land stank.
And the land stank. It was stinking. Can you imagine the Egyptians? Oh, come on, you Hebrews. Clean this up. Holding up the nose. And, all right, go ahead.
But when Pharaoh saw that they was respite, he hardened his heart, and hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch out my rod, and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt.
All right. So that lice represents the Egyptian god Geb. G-E-B. All right. That represents the god of the earth. All right. Jeb or Geb. G-E-B. That Egyptian god. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 17, and they did so, for Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod, and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in men, and in beasts. All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice. but they could not. So they were lice upon men and upon beasts.
Can you imagine that, man? Lice everywhere, man. Woo! Most I know how to get at you, boy. Go ahead.
Verse 19, then the Egyptians said unto Pharaoh, this is the finger of God.
Yeah, they knew. They knew it was the Most High's judgment. They told him, the wise men, listen, man, this is the finger of the Most High against us, man. What are you doing? All right, go ahead.
And the Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he come forth to the water, and say unto him, thus said the Lord, let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee.
Okay, now the flies represents the god Kepri. K-H-E-P-R-I. K-H-E-P-R-I. Kepri was Egyptian god of creation, movement of the sun. All right? Kepri was the god of creation and movement of the sun. K-H-E-P-R-I. Kepri. All right? So continue, read on.
And upon thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thy houses, and the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies.
And that's an irritating thing to have flies in your house, man. All over the place, man. Can you imagine that, man? Going in your nose, in your food. Damn, man. Go ahead.
And also the grounds whereon they are. Verse 22. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen.
See, and that's the land we were living in, Goshen. But we didn't have that in the land of Goshen. Okay, go ahead.
In which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. And I will put a division between my people and thy people. Tomorrow shall this sign be.
And that's the way it is back then, and it is right now today. Okay? That's why a lot of people want to move back into the hood. They're moving from the suburbs and coming to the hood. Like, well, the hood is not being attacked with no floods and nothing like that. We out there like our house are being destroyed with strong winds and everything, but the hood is still being untouched. All right? Because we like in a miniature Goshen today. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 24. And the Lord did so, and there came a grievous swarm of flies into the house of Pharaoh, and into his servant's house, and into all the land of Egypt. The land was corrupted by reason of the swarm of flies. Verse 25. And Pharaoh called for Moses and for Aaron, and said, go ye, sacrifice to your power in the land. Verse 26. And Moses said, it is not meet so to do, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to the Most High our power. Lo, shall we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, and will they not stone us? Verse 27. We will go 3 days journey into the wilderness, and sacrifice to the Most High our power, as he shall command us. And Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that ye may sacrifice to the Most High your power in the wilderness. Only ye shall not go very far. Entreat for me.
So he said, you ain't going to get far without us. You Hebrews not going to get far without us. You can't do without us. All right, go ahead.
And Moses says, behold, I go out from thee, and I will entreat the Most High that the swarm of flies may depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people tomorrow. But let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully anymore, and not letting the people go to sacrifice to the Most High. And Moses went out from Pharaoh and entreated the Most High. And the Most High did according to the word of Moses. And he removed the swarm of flies from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. There remained not one. Verse 32. And Pharaoh hardened his heart at this time.
Still hardening his heart. All right, go ahead.
Also, neither would he let the people go. Yeah. Exodus chapter 9.
Whose phone is this?
Exodus chapter 9. Exodus chapter 9, verse 1. Then the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto Pharaoh and tell him, Thus said the Most High Power of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me.
Mm-hmm.
For if thou refuse to let them go, and will hold them still. Verse 3, Behold, the hand of the Lord is upon the cattle which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the house asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous murder.
Okay, we're going to stop right here. So this was the god Hathor. All right? Hathor was the Egyptian goddess of love, protection. All right? It was shown with the head of a cow. All right? When you look it up, Hathor is the goddess with a cow, the head of a cow. And that name is spelled H-A-T-H-O-R. Hathor, the Egyptian goddess of love and protection. All right? So we're going to enter this here and continue some other time. And then the next one will be the god Isis. All right? Yes.
That's what I say pertaining to this. Every time I think of Exodus, all of us, we see the same way. You think about that movie, Ten Commandments. I just want to say that part when all what we just read, right? You see all the plagues. Remember that scene when I forgot his name who played the part, but he was down, he about to die. He said, Let the children of Israel go. Let them go. You know, he died. I'm like, wow.
Yep. All right? So these were all the gods. It was 10 major gods that they had in Egypt that they held in high esteem. And that's what the Most High was making mockery and showing that their gods are nothing. And that you have to worship the true power, not these false gods that you have established in Egypt. All right? And that's what the Most High is going to show every nation upon the earth, that he is the true power. He's the only true power. Even atheists in the last days going to acknowledge the Most High. All right? Yes. Yeah, the Egyptian god of love. Yeah, Hathor. The Egyptian god of the goddess of love and protection. All right, and she had a head of a cow. All right. All right. So with that, we end the class and we'll continue next week. All right. So I say shalom, shalom to all Israel.